Hello, welcome to another episode of Sit Down for Stand Up with me, Daniel, and I have a Mancunian with me today. A funny Mancunian called Andy. How are we?
I'm all right, mate. How are you? Voice is
Uh,
a bit decided out for some reason this morning. Decided it wanted, as I was having an interview, my voice decided to stop working. So I don't usually sound like I'm struggling to breathe normally, to be honest.
I live my life struggling to breathe, so I thought you was coming at me straight away. Then I was like, God, you can hear my sinuses. No,
I wish I was that quick. I wish I was that quick.
you sound perfect to me, Andy. Don't worry. So,
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
so Andy, we're from Manchester, and we've been doing comedy for how long?
Just about 2 years. People keep asking me, and I keep forgetting. I think it's about 2 years. I think I'm possibly either in my second year now or just starting my third. I probably should keep track a bit more, really, but
And
about second year, I think.
and how's it all going for you?
Absolutely loving it. I no idea how I managed to kind of like do this. As in my 20s, never in a million years, 20 odd year old Andy would be wanting to stand in front of a group of people. But in my 30s, got towards the end of my 30s, and I absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely great. I've struggled to find like a creative outlet for a while. I've done YouTube, I've done photography, tried a bit of streaming, and nothing stuck. But this, when the writing goes well, I enjoy it more. But when even when it's a bit hard, I just seem to love it. I don't know why. I just do.
Oh, what you did like street performance? Did you say
No, streaming and YouTube
streaming?
and
Sorry,
all
I was
that.
about to
Yeah,
say.
say
God,
voice, the voice.
as I said, if you could do street art, then like God, stand up must be a doddle. I'd absolutely hate to
Yeah.
perform in front of like like the passing by audience. I think that'd be awful. So, Andy, how did you get into doing stand up?
So I saw, well, my wife saw an advert for like do 5 minutes of comedy for stand up, do 5 minutes of stand up for charity type thing,
Yeah.
and I started the process of that. But then what happens with me is as soon as I get an idea of something, I just run with it. So then I started looking at everything to do with comedy, and I came across a comedy like a class,
Yeah.
a comedy lab with Tom Shaw,
Okay.
and I booked onto that and did a weekend with that, and then I never chased up the charity thing, and so just started doing open mics and just going from there. So that's kind of where it is. But I've people have always said when I've been sat in groups of people that I'm quite funny.
Mm.
It's quite hard to be nice about yourself. But we said, "Oh, give it a go. It's all right," and I think that's kind of where it's come from.
You sort of got to like jump in the deep end. And how did your first performance go?
I did 5 minutes at an open mic, and the first sentence I stumbled over my words. Oh, because I was meant to be, I'm from a little town, and I went,
Manchester's
and I
not a
just,
little town. Oh,
well, I grew up in the Peak District. I grew up, I like in the hills, and I'm now in the big city of Stockport, Manchester. But yeah, I grew up in a little town, and I stumbled over my first 30 seconds, but then it went well. It was got a few laughs and told a little story about how I got arrested as a kid for playing knock a door run. So it was kind of a nice little rhyme.
is that when like you knock on the door and run away?
Yeah, yeah. So you might call it knock down
We
ginger.
do. That's
Uh,
we're knocked down ginger
Yeah,
now. So
yeah. There's a whole thing. Yeah, there's a whole like thing of everybody calls it something different. Knock a door run, knock down ginger. There's loads of different things for it. Yeah, you knock on a door and run away from it. So
I don't
that's just
understand how
told
that
that
became
first
a
little
thing.
story.
Like knock down ginger. Like I mean, Ringo doorbells have sort of ruined that little game for
Yeah,
us, haven't
yeah.
they? But
I maybe shouldn't ask you how old are you, Daniel?
I'm 33.
All right, I'm 38, so we're kind of roughly the same sort of age. But yeah, it was had a lot more fun without ring doorbells and CCTV as a kid and playing knock a door run and stuff.
So we started off with doing 5 minute sets. What sort of sets are we doing now? Have you done any like gong shows, any roast
Well,
battles?
we've got the Frog and Bucket in Manchester, so we
Yeah.
got the Beat the Frog. I've done that twice. The most I've done is 2.5 minutes,
Right.
and it was all right. It was all right. It was a gong show. Anyone that's done a gong show will know exactly. It was a gong show.
100
It was
mark.
nice to perform. It was nice to do a crowd of 200, 300 people
Of
and get a
course.
proper stage with proper lights.
Mm.
Uh, But it was a gong show. I enjoyed my time, and I tried it again, and then I did, I think, about 55 seconds. So it
Yeah.
wasn't going better.
But
And
what,
then I
what
did sorry,
no, so what I've heard
go on.
about the one up in Manchester is that they hand out like free cards to free members of the audience,
Yeah.
and then they do it like that. Where I know I've seen a couple down south, and they do the same, but then they switch them up sort of every like 3, 4 acts because
Oh yeah, so yeah, they give out the three cards, and then if two of the three go up, you're off. And the host seems to be, if they're being fair,
yeah,
then they'll
yeah,
keep it through the day, through the night. And most of them are fair. Give you about a minute, you've got a minute, and then if you haven't really done anything after a minute, the cards are going up.
mm,
And that seems quite fair, to be honest. It is what it is.
mm.
I hate it, but I will put myself through it again when I want to do it again. That's just kind of the way it is.
My first ever gig was a comedy store, gong show, and
Right. Well,
I
that's a big one.
yeah, it was. I said I messaged them at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, being like, "Look, is there any chance I can come on?" And then they emailed back saying we've had a couple of dropouts tonight. Come down, and I lasted a minute, which minute 23, which I think they must have given me a minute grace period because they knew this is my first time ever. And then yeah, deer in the headlights, they just fucked me off. But I've got
I've
another one
seen a few.
tomorrow, up the
All
creek,
right.
Greenwich.
You'll,
So
you'll you'll smash it. You'll smash it. And I saw one lad, and he said he come on stage when it's my very first time. He looks at his arm covered in notes, and then goes, "I've forgotten what I'm saying now." And they let him through the 5 minutes because they just liked him. He was a nice lad. He didn't win. He didn't win
they
the
must be
night, but
nice.
he got
They
through the
must be
five
nicer up
minutes.
north then. I had a guy
Well,
last.
famously nicer up here, aren't we?
Well, I've had there was a guy who lasted about 5 seconds. He opened his mouth saying, "I'm from New Zealand," and they just fucked him off straight away.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I did one in Liverpool, shenanigans, and have you seen on my Instagram me wearing
Yeah, the
that
hazmat.
boiler suit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
boiling.
So
Yeah,
so I come on stage with that and I went, I've I love this bit. Pest control. I've heard there's been an outbreak of laughter. It's okay. I seem to have fixed it. Then they just fucked me off. Bang, bang, bang. All the cards went up.
funny.
Get off.
That's funny.
35 sec 35 seconds on it. I
Oh,
drove an hour to Liverpool to do 35 seconds on
yeah.
stage.
So I always ask, what's the what are the pros and cons about doing comedy? My con always is the travel.
See, I don't mind driving. Maybe it's a bit odd. I really don't mind driving.
Mm.
I'd rather not have to drive up and down the M6 all the time. But yeah, it is. It is a long time of driving. I've
Yeah.
got a show in Birmingham in a couple of weeks' time,
Okay.
and that'll be the furthest south I've done, which is an hour and a half away. So it's an hour and a half down and then an hour and a half back up.
Yeah.
So it's a long old way.
Is
But
that for a con
I'm
or
quite
just
lucky in Manchester. It's for the Holly Bush. It's apparently like a famous venue that's
yeah?
quite
Yeah.
yeah. So it's look forward to it. And there's a few people from Stoke, the same group that Nikita, one of your previous people, have been on.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, 10 minutes, little 10 minute spot. It's quite nice.
Okay, and how often do you sort of like mix your setup? Do you sort of have like your fixed five, your fixed 10, or do you sort of like improve like new material as it goes along? How often do you change your material?
I to be truly honest, I'm really struggling kind of like with the material and stuff. I kind of stumbled across 5 minutes really easily with the Knock Door Run story, and then a really crude story about how this guy basically had a wank in front of me when I was doing photography.
Brilliant.
And then, yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
Photo
it was an
finish.
odd one. And then I'll put that in. I love that. Thank you.
Take
So
it.
and I did that. And then I found that I was going down like a crude route. And I didn't really want to keep being, there's nothing wrong with it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And there is a place for it. But
Yeah.
I wanted to be a little bit like a bit more catch-all. So then I stopped doing it and I struggled for quite a while to
Yeah.
find some stuff. But now every time I come up with an idea, it goes in the book, it goes in the book, it goes in the book. And then it's now starting to develop into possibly 20 minutes. I've got
No.
10 minutes on. on like the wife and the relationship, and then I can probably flash that out to maybe 20, 30 minutes with a few other ideas. Got
Okay.
work and because it's mainly stories. I just
I
find
was
it
going to
so
say,
much
what type
easier.
of comedian are you? A storyteller, one-liner, deadpan? Like how's the set go?
I like, I guess stories to a way because most of my stuff has been stories that I've got myself into. Because it does seem that I must get myself in a lot of shit. Like, because if someone said, "Do you want to do this, Andy?" Yeah, of course I do. Let's do it. Next thing, there's a guy having a whack in front of me. I'm stuck on an island because the tide has come in, or whatever. There's all sorts of like. So it took a while. After about 2 years, I'm now starting to learn how to develop that into a comedy set on stage. Because as much as a story is funny, you've got to win these people around straight away, and they don't really want me to give you 10 minutes of exposition for a tiny little punchline. So it's learning how to flesh it out and make it truthful but good for the stage.
And would you say you're yourself on stage, or do you like create an alternative persona?
I'd say I'm just a bit more confident. I think I'm just kind of more confident, Andy. Uh, I'm not a good enough actor to have a character. And I've spent 38 years developing this character, so there's no point in me trying to get another one. I might as well just use the one that I've already got.
Brilliant, brilliant. So so I told you that I think the worst thing about comedy is the travel. What would you say, is your favorite thing about comedy, and what is the worst thing about comedy?
Oh, that's a good one. That and the favorite bit is when a set goes well, and people who don't want to be on stage will probably never understand this, but first time I did the frog, and it was the first time I had lights in my eyes, and I didn't realize you couldn't see the crowd; it was just pitch black. I'd never been on stage before, didn't know it was
Yeah,
going to happen. So I walked on stage, turned around, pitch black. And then I told that first joke, it landed, and a wave of laughter come at me. I thought, this is brilliant. I'd love to do this.
mm,
The worst bit, I guess, is the same thing. You tell that joke and nothing comes back at all. And you just kind of feel that thud in your chest and go, here we go. Let's go. But overall, I guess I try not to be too negative. And I guess I could find negatives absolutely everywhere with it. But the people I've met in comedy have been great. The community in Manchester, it's really, I think I'm going to be quite big headed, but we have got the biggest one and we've got like some of the best acts.
yeah.
Because when I've traveled to other areas, and I'm not going to name them, I feel that the
Name the
quality in
areas. Name the
Manchester is a
areas,
lot
not the
better.
pub.
Not a chance. It's not fucking happening.
No, no,
Not a
no,
chance.
no,
Not
like,
happening. Oh, what
like,
the areas of comedy?
no, no, no. Name the areas where you've performed.
Oh, I've done Manchester, Liverpool,
Yeah.
and then the Midlands, Birmingham, and just a little place just outside of Wolverhampton. I'm not. Oh, in Edinburgh. I've done one show in Edinburgh at the Fringe last year, which
Okay.
was just I did like a compilation show,
Okay. Do you feel like
which
the
was really
demographics?
really good.
Do you feel like the demographics changes per city? Like, do you have to change up your act, or is it pretty
No,
universal act?
no, I found I just do the same stuff anyway. I've developed. I just I said the stuff I've done. It was basically how I proposed to my now wife, and then like the relationship of that, which I feel is quite relatable. Maybe it's not the most interesting, but I sort of really like it.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that most people can relate to everything. I've not been single, so every other acts I've seen that's been on the apps and then told us stuff about being single, we all have quite interesting lives. So the
Yeah.
knock-a-door run stuff, I thought it wasn't particularly interesting. But then another mate of mine, he's like, "No, I've never grown up in a small town. It's really interesting to hear about growing up in a small town because he's from your way, London, and somewhere down there. So he's like, I've never. It's quite interesting to know the complete difference between small town living and big city living. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, could you do that in a big? 100%. Yeah. I don't think you can do that much as in a big town. So, you said you think you like the most. Tell me the time you bombed the hardest on stage. This is my favorite question.
everyone wants to hear the bad stories.
Oh,
Everybody wants to
100%. Yeah,
hear the
no one
bad
cares
stuff.
about the good stuff. I'd hate to hear, how well it's going. I want to hear the time when bloody
I,
hell
ju-
it went.
I guess I can't remember like the specific things, but like the feeling of just like I've coming home It's like how it's gone. I was like, it's absolutely terrible. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just not going to answer the question, unfortunately. But I think I've had some nights where just absolutely nothing has happened. I thought, oh, I've got a really interesting idea, and then every single joke you tell just goes boom. I guess all right, I'll try and remember one. It was like open mic. It was an open mic one, and I'd just done this set about the Bible and how I was reviewing the Bible like it's a normal book. So
Yeah.
all the stories in the book were normal stories, and like relating it to that. And I really like studied it, and I really took my time and really eyed it up. So every joke, not a single titter the entire way through. Not all 5 minutes. It was the first gig of this year,
Yeah.
not a single thing. And he ended it with, "Well, guys, if this is this is how the rest of the gigs this year are going to go, I'm looking forward to it." And it was it was just absolutely
Mm.
the
I
only
do.
joke that landed. Sorry, the only joke that landed was I related Jesus Christ to Mr. Incredible because they both got superpowers and they were both Mr. Incredible from Disney.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they both got superpowers and were punished for using the superpowers. That was the only joke that landed. The rest of them, nothing, absolutely nothing. And I was like, there we go. Oh, and recently, sorry, I guess I'll say I've remembered one. Nikita's. I did
Yeah.
Nikita's. He did a show in Little Stoke at a cricket club,
Well,
and at
Nikita
one
from an
point,
episode from
Nikita from before, yeah,
episode 7, episode 6. Yeah.
yeah, and I honestly during the show, I went, "Whoa, it's warm in here, isn't it?" Because it just was not going well. I was like, "Oh, it's warm in here," and that was it.
Yeah.
So,
You didn't wear
yeah,
the
I can't
hazmat
remember
suit
like
on that one.
no, I didn't. I would have been even warmer with that one. Would have been even warmer.
That's a winter gig thing, isn't it? I can't see you putting that one on today. Oh,
Well, yeah, I loved it. I think it's so funny, and I'm going to develop like I think 10 minutes around it because the
okay.
next bit was meant to be, oh, it's really warm this suit. Undo it, and I've got my coat on underneath. So I thought this has got to be
Oh,
quite like a double layered joke. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't even get a chance to do it, but I think I'm going to try and develop like a 10-minute set of wearing just that hazmat suit
Yeah.
just to see because
But
it's the most awful dad joke going, but I love it.
I like that jokes. So I'm gonna go stand in the corner. I'm cold. I'm gonna go stand in the corner because it's 90 degrees. Like just such such bad ones. I mean, yeah, I'd write that, but I'd wait till the winter to start performing that. So I don't think you'd make
Yeah,
it on the
just
stage at the moment.
suffer,
You know.
suffer for your art, suffer for the art. That's it. Just be a bit sweaty on stage. That's it.
Okay, so you've been doing it for about 2, maybe hashtag 3 years yet. We don't know. We haven't. We ran out of fingers to start counting the months. What you've done quite a lot of rooms. Would you advise? Because the thing I want to do about this podcast is advise, try and encourage new comedians to get on the stage and their beginning journey. Would you advise a new comedian to hit up every single room they can, or do you think they should, only do certain rooms where they sort of know their demographic already?
I think when you're first starting, stage time, stage time, stage time, and I'm still obviously starting, so I need more stage time. Uh, with anything, practice makes perfect. And as much as you can say you got yourself a demographic, I feel that's probably going to come a lot later when
Yes.
you're a bit more of a household name. Because at the moment, I just get booked onto gigs, comedy night featuring 6 comedians, and the people that are going aren't really going for the people on there. They're going for a comedy night, and they're
Yes.
taking the trust that it's going to be a good comedy night.
Yes.
Because I've run a few nights,
Mm.
and during like when I'm hosting and doing the market research period of the show, and I'm like, "Why have you come?" People go, "I just want to come for a comedy night," and unless you've got a household name on the bill, people aren't really coming. So if you want to try it, just try it.
Yeah.
And even if you don't want, my brother, give it a go. He's done 2 5-minute open spots. He went, "I've done it now. I don't want to do it ever again."
Yeah. Just a
So
bucket list
just find
almost.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He said if you fancy it, it's probably one of the best and worst decisions you'll ever make to try stand-up comedy.
Mm.
And just find an open mic, sign up, and give it a go for 5 minutes, or 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, or just tell one joke and come off stage. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter, but just give it a go
And also, if
because
if you
it's
bomb,
amazing.
and if you bomb, to be honest, fuck the crowd. You're never going to see him again.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, you will. So I either call them my Graham Norton gigs. So when I'm famous and I'm on the Graham Norton show, they'll go, Andy, you've had a hell of a career. And I go, yeah, I played to four people in a basement on a Thursday night,
Yeah.
or in a room where there was a massive water tank to my side, or in a, in a cricket club in the middle of Stoke on a Friday night,
Yeah.
a load of cricket fans. So, and someone really wise word said to me, when some gigs create memories and some gigs build character, and that was this could be a character building gig rather than a memory making gig.
Oh, so we do perform at some venues, which you do just say to yourself, why am I here? Like what, like that, for example, I did one last Tuesday, and it was in the basement, but there was a function in the upstairs room where the music was like louder than the microphone. The music from upstairs was louder
Love
than,
it.
and we had like I had about four people in there. Two of them were other comedians, and you're just like, I remember I paused. I was like, 1 second, I like this song, and she paused for like the 30 seconds because it was Living on a Prayer. So Living on a Prayer was on, and the chorus came on, and
Good song.
yeah,
Just sing along to the song, yeah.
and I did say, it's quite ironic because my set is halfway there also, and like nothing. He was like, oh,
Nothing.
it's got to make the
Deserve
most.
more. But yeah, because I was hosting one gig and it was in the back room of a working men's club in the Midlands. And there was two 12-year-old girls sat on the front row, and they were the most like engaged audience members I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, and every time I was going to swear, I was like, no, I can't swear. Got to take that
No,
out. Got to edit myself for that. It was it creates a story. It's a hell of a story, and it's
so
got to be.
they didn't
Go on.
heckle you, did they?
No, they were really good. Like I said, this she was sat right in the throw looking, and she was the most engaged person in the entire room. She was great. They were great. They were absolutely wonderful.
So how with some of that, how would you deal with hecklers? How is your crowd work at the moment? How would you advise someone to improve on crowd work?
Just practice. And I should do this. I should take my own advice, but just gotta practice. I was always worried about hecklers. I was like, heckling's really bad, and it's kind of always you see, and it's kind of what you see on like YouTube and all the shorts and stuff. It's like crowd
Paul
work,
Smith,
and heckling.
example,
Yeah, Paul
uh,
Smith. Uh, but
killing it.
I kind of see it as there's two ways. You can either be hostile back to them, Jimmy Carr, Paul Smith, but then
Yeah,
you got to be really clever and really quick, because if they're quicker than you, you're going to look a bit of a dick.
yeah.
Or try and kill them with kindness, and uh, or just ignore it. I guess there's your
Hmm.
three options. And if it's worthwhile and you've got something good enough, engage with it. But the trouble is, I did an open mic on a Wednesday, longest running Manchester one. Guy in the front row, famously for heckling, famous heckler. I'm just trying to help the acts out. I'm just trying to help the acts out. And it involved in a conversation. My entire 5 minute set just turned out into a conversation between me and him, because he got under my skin. And the rest of the people out there to listen to him, they won't listen to the acts. So I guess as the host, you should be either telling them to keep quiet, give him a bit of attention. I've done that on there was one charity night first, my first hosting was a young girl, and she looked like she's quite keen to talk. So I just give her 10 minutes of attention between every act, bit of talking, made her look a bit silly, give her a bit of attention, and then she doesn't need to talk then for the rest of the acts. And just remind people that as whatever you were saying, it's never going to be as funny as what the acts have got to say. But I won't worry about hecklers, because even at the worst, you can just turn your back on them, ignore them, and eventually they're just going to be shouting into the void.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people when they watch comedy clips on YouTube and things like that, I think they are starting to think that heckling is the norm. And crowd work, I mean, I respect crowd work so much, but it has completely become its own separate art form.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess you don't want to share your stuff on. If you're putting your set on, you don't want to share your jokes in your set, and people don't really want to watch it, because I'm the same. If I'm flicking through reels on Instagram, I don't want to watch a 3 minute clip of someone developing a full joke. I'd rather see 30 seconds of them just talking to an audience member. So I can see where, and it's the same with roast battles. You asked me before, I've never done a roast battle. I probably never will do one, because I'm just nice. And I understand it's a joke, and I understand that these are written together and they're not real. but I just can't. The stuff that they said, I just can't bring myself to say it. I just couldn't do it. And I
Come,
know they're very clippable. I know they're very clippable, but I just
come,
probably won't be able to
we're
do
gonna
it.
smash that barrier right now, Andy. I want you to pick out three things about me that you would
You
insult.
did,
Do
you
it.
did
Do
this,
it.
but it's not happening.
Do it.
What do I
Three
say?
things.
The low hanging fruit of what?
Yes,
Of your
that is
glasses?
what
I
an
haven't got
insult
glasses
is.
on. Yeah,
It is
I know. It's not gonna happen.
three
It's
things.
not gonna happen. It's all right. I'm just
Come
too.
on.
I'm too now.
Fat,
I'm too. I'm
glasses,
sorry.
bad
I'm
teeth,
I'm
shit
also
hair.
fat glasses. The only thing I could go is the
Oh no, I was
accent.
talking about you,
But
not me.
let's
Come
say,
on,
oh
I'll get to
yeah, very good.
my...
Yeah, well done.
we'll get to me in a second.
See, I can't do it. I just feel awful.
It's absolutely fine, brother. So, okay. So we've just said we're really nice, and you are 100% portraying that. Like I said, great persona, great. um, do you think there's anything in comedy that should be off topic? Do you think there's anything we shouldn't joke about?
So I read Adam Bloom's book, and he says if the joke is funnier than the subject, it is fair game. And I think
Never
that's
heard that
kind of
before.
like a good, and I think that's quite a good like starting point that you can say whatever you want, but as long as your joke is worthwhile the heavy subject, then do it. And free speech, there was a I say I would rather have to listen to somebody I don't agree with than be told what I can and can't say on stage. I won't say anything ever offensive, really. I guess I could be my Bible bit. Some people get pissed off with that, but I'm not really a swearing or saying slurs or anything like that. But I'd rather let the people that do want to tell dark jokes have the ability to do that than be told what you can and can't say.
Freedom of speech is.
Because it's really important, and obviously in this country it's that fine line because we've got the hate speech laws, and it is quite the fine line of what you're doing. But if your joke is funny enough, hit on any topic you want, which
Yeah,
probably then will exclude quite some things that because someone's going to get offended, someone's going to get upset, and I
yeah,
think as long as you're not physically like victimizing one person,
yeah. Mhm.
then that's kind of okay.
Yeah, I mean, I
Because
think the
like I
hate
said,
speech laws are a joke. I think, like, well, I did one of this yesterday about that VJ dildo in Glastonbury. Like, I think he's a complete prick, but you need freedom of speech. You need to be able to say what you want. And as a society, why can't we be grown enough to say it's not for me, I'm not going to listen? Like, I don't know why we've all got to stamp our feet and complain.
we can discuss this off camera if you want, mate. And we're very different ends of the spectrum on this conversation. It's going to turn
Challenge,
into a
bro.
political
Challenge
conversation.
it. Challenge it. It's you know what I mean. Like that is the point once again of freedom of speech. Challenge it.
Yeah, true, true. No, I don't really know. I'd have to think about my answer before I was going to say it on a public forum. So, but freedom of speech is very important, really important that we keep it. And yeah, I'm not getting involved in it.
That's absolutely fine.
Is that
So
okay?
what gigs have we got coming up then?
I have to look at my calendar. Right. So next week I've got a good one. In Wakefield, 10
Mhm.
minutes in Wakefield, and then that's on Tuesday, Thursday at the Hollybush in the Midlands.
Okay.
Uh, and then I've got my own night on the 18th of July in a Dutch Courage Bar in Sale, in Manchester. That's
Oh,
going to
do
be a good
you
night. So
host
I'll
your own
come.
nights, yeah?
Yeah, I'm hoping to build a bit of a. I've called my comedy club Belly Laughs Comedy, so I'm trying to build a bit of a night from it because I had a show in a restaurant.
Mhm.
We're currently on break for the summer for that. And then I'm hoping to get a few more bars and stuff. Because kind of the truth is when you on the Northwest Comedy Forum on Facebook, comedy seems to just be on Facebook, the gigs. They'll
I
put
you see
on
it's I agree on that.
yeah, it just seems to be on Facebook, everything's on Facebook, and they'll put out gig at such and such, 50 people will apply, you'll see 50 comments, and there's no way I'm getting on that. There's people far better than me applying for that. So the chances of me getting a spot is quite small. So you got to get your own audience. And to get your own audience, you have to run your own night. And it's kind of fun. I like it. I've got all the
I,
sound stuff now and lights. So it's kind of fun.
Well, I plan on hopefully trying to do a tour up north at the end of this year or beginning of next year. So we'll stay in touch with that one. Hopefully, I can come to one of your nights.
Yeah, definitely. You're more than welcome.
Awesome,
The
brother.
Go on. I thought go on. What was that?
No, awesome, brother. Like, yeah, looking forward to it. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, yeah, and I like the hosting. I kind of give myself less pressure with the hosting because when
mm,
you're just talking to people, something will inevitably will come out. And then because I hosted for one for this club up here, and this guy, fantastic, proper good heckle it was. I was like, "What does any jobs do?" And this guy went, "I'm an escort. I used to be an escort." And I thought, "Oh fuck it, we'll play along. We'll just go with the game. Let's see what happens." 10 minutes, this lad. 10 minutes, this guy was keeping me going for. And he went, "Oh shit, sorry, I want an escort. I was a taxi driver." Boom, whole crowd just laughed. And I was like, "You have well and truly had me." For like, honestly, 10, 15 minutes this conversation was going. So at least now, when someone says to me, "I'm an escort," I've got to come back for them straight away. You're a taxi driver, aren't you? And it's kind of fun just to have a chat with people, and then that's it. So yeah, I like the hosting more than the sets. I take the pressure off myself
well,
and
you say
just be in the
MC is easier
moment.
than performing.
I find it be a lot easier. Yeah, I
Okay.
do find it a lot easier. I don't know why some people say I don't know how that I find it easier, but
Mm.
I think it's just I used to be a security guard, so it's a lot of talking to people, and I just like talking. So that's kind of why it's easier for me to do the sets. And
Okay.
easy to do hosting that I feel it's easy to do hosting than sets.
And you can kick out the people you don't like also. Just whack the badge on
Yeah,
quickly and,
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, out you go. Yeah.
yeah, saves money on security also.
I'll
Andy, that's been
host. And
absolutely brilliant. Like,
yeah, thank you very much. I've enjoyed that.
awesome. And yeah, great talk. And yeah, I'll look at the gigs you host and yeah, try and get some people
Keep
to
in
come
touch.
up from yourself.
I'll have your head. Yeah, headline. Well, I'll headline your Manchester leg of your tour. Be great.
Awesome stuff. Andy, take care of yourself, brother.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Take
Bye.
care. That's it. Bye.